Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Why did American society suddenly pay close attention when his name surfaced? Far beyond being just a financier, how did this individual become intertwined with powerful people, celebrities, and politicians from around the world? Why is the claim that he was much more than an ordinary billionaire so compelling? Are the relationships, allegations, and secrets revealed in the Epstein files truly as horrifying as they are portrayed? What were the facts behind all these dark connections? And which questions does the public continue to pursue? Jeffrey Epstein's rise to prominence first began with his rapid ascent in the financial markets, but over time, his notoriety took a decidedly different direction. His close ties with leading business people, politicians, and many other well-known figures in the United States and worldwide caught people's attention. So, what kind of background or connections did one need to have to possess such an influential circle? Epstein was described as someone with extraordinary intelligence and financial skills from a young age. However, exactly how his fortune was amassed was never transparently explained. This sparked the initial doubts. Behind the closed doors of the financial world, the story of a man who suddenly amassed billions of dollars led to serious questions in people's minds, especially as the source of his wealth remained unclear. Although Epstein officially presented himself as an investment advisor, the fields he actually operated in, the sources and management of his funds, remained shrouded in mystery. Many pointed out the lack of sufficient documents and explanations regarding his luxurious properties and enormous wealth. The question of whether Epstein earned such a vast fortune solely through financial consulting, or if other dealings were occurring behind the scenes, remained on the agenda for a long time. Another curiosity was why the names of many wealthy individuals who worked with or invested in him were not disclosed to the public. One of the key points in the Epstein files was the depth and nature of his relationships with powerful and influential people. His connections with famous personalities worldwide sparked allegations that Epstein sometimes acted as a kind of broker or even a keeper of secrets. Especially his close contacts with high-ranking politicians, business people, and members of royal families in the United States, the United Kingdom, and other countries became a matter of public curiosity. Epstein's private planes and islands stood out over the years as exclusive locations visited by these elite figures, essentially places behind closed doors. So, what was at the core of these relationships? Was Epstein merely a financial advisor, or was he at the center of a far more complex and dangerous network? Documents and witness testimonies that emerged over the years shed some light on the scope of his power and access. Epstein was accused of luring young women and girls into a sexual exploitation network, organizing and sustaining it systematically, and collaborating with powerful people to protect it. These allegations showed that he was not only known for financial success, but also stood at the center of a dark and criminal world. The public made intense efforts to learn the details of the Epstein case. Its exposure caused a major stir in the American press at the time. Many expected that with Epstein's arrest, the client lists and relationship networks he held would also be disclosed. After all, the alleged names connected to him included some of the world's most renowned politicians, business leaders, and even royal family members. At this point, the question remained alive in people's minds. Why were Epstein's files never fully revealed? Who were the people allegedly connected to him, and why were their names kept secret? Many mysteries remained in the dark following Epstein's death. One of the biggest controversies after Jeffrey Epstein's death was whether he truly committed suicide or was silenced by someone. From the very first days of his imprisonment, it was said that he needed protection in jail because he possessed highly sensitive information. Official statements about his death did not fully satisfy the public. Many suspected a conspiracy behind his death. The malfunctioning of prison cameras, negligence of staff, and security lapses despite him needing protection only increased these suspicions. The unanswered questions surrounding Epstein's death became one of the most debated and mysterious aspects of the case. After Epstein's death, many files and documents linked to him resurfaced. In court cases in the United States, victim testimonies and some documents were shared with the public. However, the fact that the entirety of these files was not disclosed kept the question of how vast and influential Epstein's network truly was alive. One of the most frequently asked questions by the public was, Who were the other names involved in Epstein's network? How did these individuals avoid criminal investigations, or why were their names kept confidential? How much influence did Epstein's power and connections have in covering up the truth? Another striking point was how Epstein remained untouchable within the justice system for so long. Despite having been tried before for sexual abuse allegations, why did he never receive a severe sentence? Who influenced the leniency of his punishment? This opened up debates on the functioning of the U.S. justice system and the immunity some individuals enjoyed. Epstein's ability to operate so freely for decades demonstrated the strength of the protective structures behind him. So, who comprised these protective structures and how did they work? This became one of the most intriguing aspects of the files. Documents released about Epstein's network revealed that he used various methods to deceive and incorporate young girls into the system. It was noted that he particularly targeted young women who were economically vulnerable or unprotected. They were approached with promises of jobs, education, or financial support, and then allegedly forced into sexual exploitation. Epstein did not manage this network alone. He had women and certain individuals working alongside him. These people sometimes recruited victims into his network and sometimes worked to protect it. At this point, the name Ghislaine Maxwell emerged prominently. Maxwell was described as one of Epstein's closest associates and was alleged to have played an active role in managing his network. One of the most debated questions in the American public was why Epstein's client list was never fully revealed. Some documents submitted to the court censored or concealed the names on this list. This suggested a large-scale secrecy and perhaps some form of protection mechanism at work. So, why were not all names disclosed despite such a vast criminal network being uncovered? Authorities offered various reasons. Some claimed the investigation was ongoing and revealing the names might jeopardize the case. Others argued that disclosing these names could threaten national security. However, these explanations did little to quell public suspicion and curiosity. The Epstein files exposed not only one person's crimes, but also how power, money, and influence converge on a global scale. Many researchers and journalists accessed numerous documents, witness testimonies, and court records over the years to uncover details about Epstein's network. Yet, every new piece of information brought new questions and doubts. Some documents showed that individuals involved in the network ranged from the finance world to Hollywood, from politics to the scientific community. How such a broad spectrum of people came together, how the network operated, and who played which roles remained among the most complex aspects of the files. Another question about the Epstein files was whether he established similar networks not only in the United States but also in other countries. Some witnesses and documents pointed to his influential relationships in Europe and the Middle East, especially his contacts with people close to the British royal family, and some politicians highlighted the international dimension of this network. Epstein's luxury properties, villas, and islands in various countries were identified as central hubs of this global network. Which countries, with whom, and for what activities he was involved remains another mystery. Documents and witness statements about Epstein's network also strengthened claims that he not only exploited young women, but also recorded such acts and used these recordings to blackmail certain individuals. Some victims alleged that Epstein's properties had camera systems and that some visitors were secretly recorded. These allegations raised the possibility that Epstein used blackmail to control or manipulate those involved in the network. So, was such a threat the real reason behind the gathering of so many powerful figures? Could the information and documents Epstein possessed have been the main reason for his murder or silencing? Most of the secret documents and files remain unreleased. The U.S. justice system's failure to fully open the Epstein files caused a major trust issue among the public. Names allegedly involved in Epstein's network sometimes appeared censored in available documents. This undermined people's faith in justice and transparency. Many expected justice and the rule of law to prevail in exposing such a massive criminal network. Instead, the cover-up fueled further debates and conspiracy theories. The Epstein files evolved from a mere crime story into an example revealing the vulnerabilities of modern society regarding justice, power, and secrecy. Another major question about Epstein's network was whether he could have built such a vast web alone. It was claimed that behind his ability to connect with people across multiple countries and levels, there were powerful intermediaries and helpers. Especially figures like Ghislaine Maxwell were revealed to have played critical roles in managing Epstein's criminal organization. During Maxwell's trial, more details about Epstein's network surfaced. However, even Maxwell's court process did not unfold with the expected transparency. Most files remained behind closed doors. The sentence she received and new information revealed in court failed to satisfy the public. Many believed Maxwell did not disclose everything she knew. For a long time, the Epstein files were at the center of investigations, allegations, and rumors. With his death, the loss of the case's most crucial witness made uncovering the truth even more difficult. Nonetheless, victim statements and some publicly available documents helped to understand the scope and operation of Epstein's criminal network. Yet, questions remain unanswered about how such a large criminal network remained secret for so many years, why authorities did not stop it earlier, and who the protective forces behind Epstein were. The Epstein files also demonstrated how money, power, and influence intersect in modern societies, and how states and institutions can be manipulated. Many people wondered how the richest and most powerful individuals in the world could be so easily protected when associated with crimes, and why sufficient investigations were not conducted. Epstein's death, along with the implied clearing of many connected names, revealed the significant obstacles in exposing this criminal network. New documents and information related to the Epstein files continue to surface today. Each new document and testimony again demonstrate how comprehensive and complex the case is. The Epstein affair also highlights how vulnerable justice systems and states can be against power and influence. Many hope for the full disclosure of the Epstein files and the uncovering of the truth, yet the veil of secrecy is still not fully lifted. One of the most important issues revealed by the Epstein files was the trauma endured by victims and their search for justice. Victims, silenced, threatened, and hidden for years, eventually found their voices. Their testimonies shed light on Epstein's network and operations. However, the number of victims and what they experienced and witnessed also showed how deep and dark the files truly are. Society continues to debate how such crimes can be prevented, how victims can be protected, and how justice can be ensured. The Epstein files are not just a crime story, but have become one of the greatest scandals of our time. The failure to reveal the entire case has shaken trust in state and judicial transparency. People continue to wonder how such a vast criminal network remained hidden for so long, and why it still has not been fully disclosed today. The questions posed at the beginning of the Epstein files remain unanswered. Why are the truths not fully disclosed? Who is being protected? And when will this veil of secrecy be lifted? Most importantly, who else might be revealed as part of such dark networks in the future? If you enjoyed this comprehensive and striking content about the Epstein files, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments to join the discussion. Stay tuned to pursue the truth and uncover dark secrets together.